How do I write an eviction letter? Writing an eviction letter is largely a matter of informing tenants of the law in order to protect one's own rights. An eviction letter should include all relevant information and only that information. It is absolutely essential to include the date that the tenant must vacate the premise, the reason for the eviction, and a citation of the relevant laws that governs how long the tenant has a right to stay. In some countries, the law does not protect tenants, and an eviction letter is not necessary. Where tenants have rights, local legal agencies can usually provide advice about how to compose an eviction letter. To begin, one must put one's name and the date on the letter. It is important to address the tenants by name as well. There is no need to include informal salutations in an eviction letter. First, the letter should contain information about why the tenants are being evicted. If the tenants are being evicted due to a breach of the lease agreement, for example, it is important to make sure to clearly document in the letter what the infraction was. One must make note of the exact place in the lease where this information can be found. If the tenants are being evicted for not paying rent, one should state how long the rent has not been paid. Next, the eviction letter should request that the tenants vacate the premises within a certain number of days. The relevant laws on the number of days necessary can be found at a local courthouse or even a library. Making reference to these laws will make the letter sound more official and will ensure that the tenant realizes the gravity of the situation. If other actions must be taken as well, such as cleaning the house or removing plants, these should be listed in this section also. It may be a good idea to include a warning in the letter about what will happen if the tenant does not leave. If one intends to call the police, for example, this should be listed in the letter. It is not legally necessary to do this, but it may be advisable because doing so might prevent the tenant from resisting the eviction. The letter should end with a formal valediction in one's name. The entire letter should be typed, but it should also be signed by hand. Using a professional font and business stationery for the letter will make it look official. In essence, an eviction notice should be treated like any other professional document and should represent the business that is sending it. After the letter has been written, one must make a copy for one's records and have the letter delivered by hand to the tenants. It is not necessary for the landlord to deliver the letter personally, but it is important that the tenants cannot claim that they never received the letter. If tenants ignore the letter, the copy that has been made will be important for court proceedings concerning the eviction. The possibility that the document can be used in legal proceedings makes it especially important to use formal language in the letter and include no threats, unreasonable language, or evidence of personal conflicts.